So I was just doing a quick introduction, and I want to, get to it. But I was just letting everyone know this is being recorded. I don't have a way to like tell you that, but it is being recorded in real time. So just know that. So if you don't want to show your face, feel free to hide your face, whatever. The other thing is I like interaction, so feel free to chime in and talk up. I already said that. And my goal is I would like to do this weekly, but I'll talk about that more later. But I wanted to give a preface real quick. Most of you know me. I've already had interactions with you. My name's Philip. I think most of you know that. I have wanted to set these meetings up since back in August and September. So as I was saying, I'm only in one group at this time. I have a hunch, and this is just between us, so please keep it between us. I have a hunch the last group that I'm currently in, I'm probably going to get kicked out of this group too. And the reason why is because all of these groups that I've been a part of since like 2019 is when a lot of this stuff kind of blew up and took off, right before COVID. Hey Dave, how's it going? Long time no talk. But I got kicked out of a lot of these groups because I wanted to partner with them, and I already had an establishment. I already had forums. I already had training. I already had all this stuff going, and I was trying to get my way out of the RV rental business, but whatever, that's a different story. Point being is, so I slowly got kicked out of all the groups because it was conflict of interest, or they felt jealous, or they felt whatever, or who knows why. So I'm only in one group at this time, so all of you guys that I've only found through this group, and it's very challenging to find new people to mentor, coach, whatever. Point being is I have a hunch. Again, this is between us. Please don't mention this to Clark. But I when I met Clark and I joined his group, same thing. I pitched him. I showed him my site. I showed him my stuff, and he's like, "This is great. Let's partner. Let's do this. Let's affiliate." Blah 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 blah. Nothing came of it. And I just finally got tired of waiting around. I said, I just got to keep moving this forward. I got to make money. I got to do something. And, you do your own thing. You guys are still running. That's great. I'm not running anymore, so I got to figure out a way to make some money. Point being is I like to do this as a recurring thing. I'll talk about that more later. I am recording it. That's why I'm recording it, because I want to get more people that want to participate and join and be a part of this. I'm not trying to get us to sign up for a whole nother group. Like, I feel like there's more than buku groups out there to do this. Ideally, again, I'll talk about this more later. Ideally, I wouldn't mind having like a dedicated core people where you guys can just directly reach out to me at any time, text, call, whatever. I feel like I'm messaging people all day, all the time, and it becomes overwhelming, and I feel like I need to figure out how to monetize that, you know what I mean? But anyway, so do you guys, real quick before I jump in, do you guys have any questions about me, not about what we're going to talk about, but about me specifically? Do you guys have any questions about my background, anything that you'd like to know, any of that? Yay, nay? No? Speak now, forever hold peace? Okay.
I watched quite a few of your videos, so.
Okay, very good.
I got no clue about you.
Okay, very good. I appreciate that. Hopefully you guys know I'm the real deal. I'm not just some run-of-the-mill. Like, I did this back since 2009. I was pioneering the business, and I learned everything by hard knocks, and I tried to find mentors and things like that, and there wasn't a whole lot. I've always been that kind of way in my life. I've always tried to find coaches and mentors and people that were better than me that I could learn from, because I hate hard knocks. But man, I'll tell you what, this business was full of hard knocks. But nevertheless, okay, so here's a quick question I have. There's 6 of us, 7 of us, something like that. How many of you are all of you currently renting your unit? Yay or nay? Yeah, Dave, I know you are. Richard, you're currently renting. Jeff, you are not right now, correct?
Correct. I have not started.
Okay. And then Lindsay, you guys are about to do it, but you haven't yet, just some technical issues or something, or what's the deal?
Yeah, more an issue of time, just getting around to it, getting everything set up, but we hope to be ready for like April, I would guess.
Lindsay, where are you from?
So, England.
Nice. Your accent.
Thank you.
Very cool.
You don't pick that up in the text messages now?
No. That's why I like and prefer this a lot better, is because you lose emotion and you lose feeling. We're humans. We have feelings. We have emotions. And text messaging for me is always just, I don't know. Anyways, but that's cool. So Lindsay hasn't started yet. Jeff hasn't started yet. Okay, cool. Good to know. You told me why. Jeff, why haven't you started yet, just out of curiosity?
We're down in Florida for the winter, and my thought was to primarily do it up in Tennessee when we're up there in the summer.
Okay, got it. And your primary residence is Tennessee?
Back and forth.
Okay, cool. Very good. Okay, that's great. So before you guys even... now, those of you who have already been doing this, and I know Dave's been doing it for a while. I don't know how many of you guys, or how long some of you guys have been doing this. When you guys all started... did any of you search for training ahead of time, or like how did you even get the ball moving? Like what was your guys' approach? Anyone chime in as you see fit? I'm curious because I want to learn this.
No training. I just kind of threw it out on the platform to see one of the platforms to see how it go. It took off, and then you jump in the groups looking for knowledge, and that's kind of how I got started.
Okay, cool. Brittany, what about you?
Yeah, that was the same for me. I had a trailer that was doing nothing in my yard, so yeah, decided to do something with it.
Story of everybody's life. Andrew, what about you?
Yeah, so same. So we used Outdoorsy to rent a few actually before we got ours.
Got it.
And then it was sitting for a little while, like most of us. And I'm like, man,
Like everybody.
throw it on there just like I used, and then it took off. And then I started on Outdoorsy, then went RV Share also, and then I've added a few since then. So
Nice. And Dave, I know you've been doing it for a minute, Dave. How many do you have in your fleet now?
Yeah, more like 10 minutes or 10, 12 years. No, I inherited a big old Class A from my parents, Winnebago Adventurer, and thought, hey, it's just sitting there. I might as well start renting it out. This is 2013, I think.
Okay.
And yeah, it's which is the bad thing to start out with. Class A's don't rent well, and
they're
people don't like
challenging.
to drive them. Yep, and Outdoorsy's really jacking up the insurance rates. They've, it's now like $150 a day for the large ones. It's crazy.
wow.
Yeah. But anyways, I just grew the business organically. I'm an automotive software engineer by daytime trade, but I just basically, as I earned more money, I bought more RVs and grew it up to a stable size of about 12 motorhomes or so. And then every year I sell a couple of the older ones and buy a couple gently used ones. And so back in the day, it was a real pain because I had to roll my own website. And well, first I was just doing it off Craigslist, which really sucks. You get all
So what
kinds
year
of
did you
tire
start,
stickers.
Dave?
What's that?
What year did you start?
2013 was my first rental, and then I really
Okay.
started pushing it in 2014 after I just, put the rig out there in Craigslist and got so much business. I'm like, hey, there's something here. So,
Right.
but I use Wheelbase Outdoorsy. I have a love-hate relationship with Outdoorsy. The Wheelbase platform is simply amazing, and they always respond to feature requests and everything. But more and more, they're taking a bigger take and a cut. And I think they steal a lot of my customers too. I was one of their first dealers in the Midwest, the first dealer in the Midwest when they came along. Because, before, when I was doing it, nobody, RV Share and Outdoorsy weren't in the picture at all then. But they said, oh, we'll never steal your customer list. We'll never market to them. And so now they just I create my own a separate email customer when I book one of my own, and I get spammed like crazy from Outdoorsy. So it hurts that I'm probably not getting all the return renters, that I used to have, the regulars, because now they're just spamming like crazy with, hey, look at this in your area, so.
No, I'm with you. I got you. And that's something you and I can talk about more later. But yeah, I'm totally right there with you on all that. Okay, cool. Thank you guys. I appreciate you guys all for sharing that. So next question I wanted to ask, and just ask real quick before I jump into the next topic, was who all here has an SRA? I assume everybody here knows what an SRA is. Who here has one? Andrew, you've got one. Great. Dave, I know you've probably got one. You probably made your own or something like that. Brittany, you have one, you said? Sorry, Brittany, you said you've got an SRA? Did I lose Brittany? Richard, what about you? Do you have one yet?
Yeah, sorry, I was trying to
You're fine.
get noise down here. Yes, I have one.
Okay, and I think when we talked over the phone, you said you got one from a company that was in Oklahoma, and they were able to share it with you, right?
Yeah.
Nice. And Richard, you got one, or I think you just bought mine or something like that? Richard's still there? I might have lost Richard. Don't we love technology? Isn't it great?
Yeah.
I have classes at night that I'm doing, and we do Zoom meetings, and it's wild because a lot of these people, various ages and different things. I'm doing some other new thing, cybersecurity, just on the side, and I'm not even kidding. One night, some guy had his shirt off, like in the Zoom meeting, and like his camera was on and everything. He just had his shirt off. I'm like, I side chatted him. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? I'm like, you can't have your shirt off in this meeting. He's like, I'm in Hawaii. It's okay. I'm like, not everybody's in Hawaii, dude. I'm like, you can't just like have your shirt off. Anyways, so, and then Lindsay, do you guys have an SRA yet or no?
No, we don't. I saw that I think that MBA Insurance had one that we were going to look at as well. And, I'm certainly interested in yours, and just to be transparent, I'm just concerned about like the costs to get this started before we've even had one rental, before I jump in and spend, hundreds of dollars on everything. Although I realize it's probably one of the most important pieces of it. So
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's totally fair. And yes, NBA does offer one. I mean, theirs is pretty straightforward, pretty generic. Obviously, you'll have to tweak it. Any one that you pick up out there, whatever, you'll have to tweak. And yes, the beautiful thing about mine is it's already got, I mean, with 14 years of experience, it's got so much already built into it. There's hardly anything you have to tweak. Of course, you'll have to, set different parameters on it. But yeah, no, I totally feel you on that. I know mine's a big ask, and there's a reason for that, but I get it. And you definitely want to get your first rental under your belt, or at least know that you have something booked and ready to go. So that way, you got revenue coming in. So I completely understand that. Anyways, okay. So again, just a generic question. I just want to see, engage where everybody's at. So the next thing I wanted to go into, and I know I kind of briefly shared, I'd like this to be more of an AMA eventually or whatnot. I don't need to necessarily have these topics. So what I'll do is, instead of like drilling out these topics, because some of this may just be nuanced to you, and I'm not trying to bore anybody. If you're like, oh, I already know this, or this is all second, like I hate that. I've been in plenty of classes and trainings like that. And I'm just like, oh God, twiddling my thumbs. Like, I already know this stuff. Like, can we get to the good stuff? So the two topics I was going to at least mention and bring up, and this was more just to, dare I say, entice people to sign up to get this started, was just pricing and efficiency. But again, some of you may already been doing this for a minute. Some of you may have questions on this. So would you like me to talk about pricing, where you guys are at with your prices, to see if we can't bump those numbers up? Would you guys like to tackle that topic, or would you like me to tackle something else? I'm totally open, but that was my agenda, was pricing and then going into streamlining and efficiency. What do you guys think?
Yeah, pricing's always good. I know we talked about it the other day, but and I've already invested some of mine, but I'd always like to hear more and hear what other people are doing.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. And the rest, Dave, you're okay with that? I'm sure this is old news for you, Dave, but are you okay with all that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. If I could ties right in with that link I sent you the other day.
Right. Yeah. And I want to talk about that because it's, yeah, that's interesting. Okay. And then Jeff, it looked like you were going to say something. Or maybe not. That's right. Lindsay?
I was just going to ask Phil if
be listening.
Oh,
Sorry.
No, you guys are crying. That's fine. Go ahead, Lindsay.
this may be like a super obvious answer, but we're wondering, like, if you're on 4 platforms and somebody books, Saturday, April 5th, how do you stop it then getting booked on the other platforms and stuff? I was hoping maybe for an insight.
Yeah, so I don't, and maybe somebody can correct me. I'm not on any of the platforms. I haven't been in like forever. I barely ever use them. There may be software out there that does this. I don't even know if Wheelbase does this, but the point is you have to manually do it, to my knowledge. You have to go in and physically block out. Some people find that cumbersome, but I'm like, hey, the more leads you can get, the better. That's what the platforms are doing for you. At the end of the day, they are kind of a love-hate relationship. You need them because you need the leads, and you're getting, quote, free leads, but it's costing you 20-25%. But you just got to do the heavy lifting and just, keep your own Google Calendar, however you manage your calendar, and then just block everything out, So, yeah.
So when somebody books on this site, you just then block it out on the other sites.
Correct.
And just kind of go back and forth?
Yeah.
Okay.
Our RV share syncs down. So if you use RV share as what I've found as your like master platform outside of your own, obviously. So you drop, you say you have your own calendar from your own website. As long as you keep that consistent with RV share, that one will sync to Outdoorsy. But outside of that, there's like, yeah, it's pretty difficult.
Yeah.
But those two at least work well together.
Go ahead, Brittany.
I found it difficult to try and sync all of them because some will sync, others won't. So I'm on 4 different platforms, plus I book direct. And so I was finding that like RV Share will sync with Outdoorsy, but Outdoorsy won't sync to RV Easy, and RV Easy won't sync to anything. And so it became a lot to try and remember, like, oh, if somebody books on RV Easy, I need to only change this one, or So yeah, I ended up connecting all of my calendars and I just do it manually every time.
It seems like that's the easiest way to go. Even with my software, when we would get external bookings. Like we left some of our units on the platforms and we would pull those leads from them. We wouldn't book through the platforms. Same with my software. It was the same thing. We would manually add that customer through our system. That way it would sync with our calendars and everything that we do. So anyways, Lindsay, hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, I kind of thought that's how it was. I was just making sure I wasn't missing something obvious that
you're
could save me
You're
that.
good. Okay, so everybody's cool with pricing. So again, I'm going to go down questions. I'm going to get a little bit of feedback. And I know we're 20 minutes in, so I want to make sure that I'm using you guys' time wisely. So what is everybody's, now I don't even know what everybody's renting. I don't know if people have, I know Dave's got a handful of units. Richard, how many units do you have right now? I don't know if Richard is still having technical issues.
No, it's hard to, the stupid thing. I've got 2 units right now, hoping to scale to 3 or 4 this season.
Okay, and do you guys all own all your own units, except Brittany? I think you said you might have consigned a couple?
I have not consigned any yet. I just own the 2 I've got.
Nice. And Brittany?
The one consignment I was going to do, they decided they wanted to sell it, and it needed a lot of repairs to it, so didn't really want to deal with it.
And Andrew, you own all yours?
Yes, but I would like to start doing the consignment.
Okay. Okay. And I know, Dave, it sounds like that's amazing. You own most of yours, Dave? That's awesome.
Yeah, I own 10 RVs and motorhomes and 2 trailers, but I also have 1 trailer consignment and 1 additional motorhome consignment. And the key there is you got to find people that are not attached to their unit, as something they live in and sleep in, whatever. They got to look at it as an investment and be okay with, gentle wear and tear and stuff. So the other, I thought about ramping up more on consignments, but I have the cash from the other ones to buy my own, but then the payback period is forever. But on the other hand, if you're splitting 50-50 with a consignment owner, well, there goes 50% of all your income on that. So I got to do some more calculations to figure out what's the best model.
Dave,
anyways, it also depends on market. I'm kind of saturating my own market.
Right.
So.
I was going to say, Dave, you and I, we should talk about that, off call or whatever, because that's something I can definitely help you out with. And then Jeff, you're not renting it. You've just got the 1 unit, and Lindsay, you guys got the 1 unit. Okay. So the reason why I asked is, and I know it sounds like most people have trailers. A couple of you have motorhomes. And the general question is what is your nightly prices at? Like, I want you to be thinking about this, right? And I don't need all the numbers. I was going to do that, but that's maybe too overwhelming. So I'm just going to say, what are your nightly prices? You know what your nightly prices are in your head, okay? And this took me years to really understand and figure out. And I started way before Dave, obviously. So Dave was around when the platforms were just birthing, and they were barely around. But yeah, I was doing the old Craigslist model. Facebook wasn't around, and it was crazy. It was like the Wild West. It was very interesting. But point is, I didn't know what I was doing, and I had a Class A 2002 Fleetwood Pacero, 38-foot, really nice. We lived in it for 6 months. It was still in great, excellent shape. And I started out at $85 a night, and it just blew up, right? It's just like total, so many people want to rent it. But I didn't know what I was doing. And, and a lot of people came to me, and even NBA, because NBA's been around forever, and even NBA, they were like, oh, you need to be at like $300 a night. And I was like terrified to do that. I was like, no, I just need to make my payments. I don't care. I'm not trying to make this a business, little did I know. But I say that story all the time to people because most people, this is what happens. And I truly don't think the platforms actually encourage you to raise your prices, which is mind-blowing to me because I just signed up the other day just out of curiosity on a totally different email account. I already got kicked out of the platform just because I was like spamming people and they just don't like it. But I'm looking at the prices and I'm just like floored in my area in Colorado Springs. Now I know it's winter time, so the prices are probably reflecting that. But still, I'm seeing like Class C's renting for $150 a night. A 2023 Class C for $150 a night. I'm just like, I'm floored by this stuff. So why I say this is because I'm going to get into some numbers. And here's the numbers that I would say without getting into the nitty gritty because everybody's going to be different. Your market's going to be different. Your location, all that stuff's going to be different. So I understand that. And here's what I would suggest to you. Most everybody is always terrified to raise their prices because they're tunnel vision on what the platform is saying. And you're pulling up the platform map and you're seeing what everybody else is doing. I, for the life of me, will never understand why the platforms don't encourage people to boost these prices up. I don't get it. Teach your own. My point is one thing I know for sure is probably almost everybody here, as Lindsay and I know, Jeff, you guys haven't started, but once you start renting your unit, you're automatically surprised. You're like, oh my gosh, I just listed it yesterday and I've already got a 2-week booking or whatever it may be. This happens almost easily and organically because one thing I've said forever doing this business is there's no lack of renters. Like there is just no lack of people that want to rent RVs because most people can't afford to buy them or whatever the case may be. And they're just weekend warriors or whatever. You know, they get the bug, yada, yada. There's a lot of reasons. Point being is your RV will rent regardless without even having to try, just by getting it online, having good photos, having good description, yada, yada, yada. But then taking that plunge to up your rates seems like such a hard step. So here's what I would tell everybody here about your numbers. If your unit, and this could be high season, low season, it's your call, your market. I knew my low season numbers and I knew my high season numbers. Totally different because I'm in Colorado. My high season numbers, as long as I was hitting 20 nights a month, and I only had May-ish, really we were Memorial Day through Labor Day, but May, June, July, August. So really for me it was June, July, and August. As long as I knew my numbers were hitting 20 nights a minimum per unit, I had, you know, anywhere between 15 to 25 units, give or take, depending on the week. As long as those numbers were hitting, I knew my prices were fine and probably right where they needed to be, right? If I was 30 nights booked every single time, my prices were too low, right? This is a supply and demand thing. And what I would suggest to you is that if your units are booked almost rock solid, or at least a minimum of 20 nights without trying, and maybe you've blocked out the other nights or whatever it may be, but there's still like, you're still getting inundated with people wanting to rent your unit. You're like, oh, I wish I had more, blah, blah. Your price is too low. And that's straight up the easiest way to know that. That's just an easy numbers game. And most of you, I would guarantee, especially the trailers, everybody here that tells me that they have trailers and they're renting for $100 a night, I'm just like, I just want to scream, right? Because I'm like, that's so low. And like, we were renting our trailers for anywhere between $125 a night to $175 a night for our big monster trailers. And people are like, oh, you're in Colorado. I'm like, I was still competing with RV Sharing Outdoorsy. We had value. We were a professional company, so we added value to our pricing. There was more to it and in our description. My point is I would encourage everybody here, and I think, Brittany, you've already did this because you sent me an email about this, raise your prices and start to raise them and see what happens. Because the beautiful thing about it, and I think I told every single individual this here, this is something I learned so many years ago from a mentor, and they were like, you can always take your prices lower, but you can never take your price higher. Meaning, if I myself came and wanted to rent one of your guys' units, and it was $100 a night or whatever on the cheap end, and I had the great experience that I was like, man, this is an awesome unit. I would have paid $200 a night. You would have been like, what? Why would you pay $200? Well, you were only $100 a night. What? I'm not going to give you more money, right? But if you start at that high threshold and you start at that point, you can always negotiate. If you see that people are coming in, they love your photos, they love your description, they love something about you, great. They want to work with you. They like your RV. Take advantage of that and keep those rates because you never know. If they're willing to pay that full price, great. You just made yourself more money. If not, I know everybody hates the haggle and the negotiate. I hate it too. I get it. But you can always offer incentives and discounts. I'm not a fan of those things. But my point is raise your prices and see what the market's willing to bear. I would almost venture to guess. Oh, no worries, Lindsay. Appreciate you. We'll talk later, Lindsay. Thank you.
Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt.
No,
Thanks
fine.
so much.
You're good. We'll touch base later, Lindsay. Thank you so much.
All right. Appreciate it. Bye, guys.
But so everybody understands this. So I don't need to beat a dead horse. I think you all get this. And I've had this specific conversation with probably every single person here. So that's why I said I want to make sure I'm not repeating myself. So if you haven't raised your prices yet, I know, Brittany, you said you did, and you said you're already seeing bookings coming through. That's fantastic. The next thing I would say, other than raising your prices, if you know you're getting 20 plus 25 nights a month booked without trying, raise your rates. Start raising your rates. Increment about, if you're on trailers, probably $5 to $10 a month. If you're on motorhomes, you could jump easily $10 to $25 a night. I said a month, a night on a motorhome. Again, you just don't realize what you don't know. And Dave, something, because you sent me this thing the other day, and I wanted to put this out there. This was really fascinating to me. Something, I have to be careful because I don't want to come across negative. I've been in this business too long, so there's a lot of negative aspects of this business that drive me crazy. And one of them is this. This is the only industry that I've ever been a part of, to my knowledge, that the prices don't go up annually. They go down. Now, in a free market society and in capitalistic society, whatever, that's the goal, right? Competition creates more competition, which creates better for the consumer, and it creates better prices for the consumer. So I get that. But here's the crazy thing, and Dave and everybody else here who has bought them probably knows this. If you go buy a trailer now compared to 2020 or 2019, those prices have skyrocketed and jacked up, yet our rental rates are going down. It makes absolutely no sense to me. Like, I always said I'm in the wrong business, because when I would go rent an ATV or go rent a jet ski or whatever it was, like if I was doing a quick little mini vacation, it was like $150 for the day. And I'm like, I'm barely getting this with a travel trailer. And I know for a fact my travel trailer costs 10 times whatever this ATV costs, right? So for whatever reason, Dave, and it was, again, I'm just, because you sent me that article yesterday, like the prices haven't budged. They haven't gone up. And like even me, I've been doing this since 2009. And I used to have, before RV Share and Outdoorsy, I know, right? Before RV Share and Outdoorsy existed, we were able to command higher prices because there was nobody out there doing it. So I get the competition. I'm okay with that. But this goes back to my first point. Why does RV Share, Outdoorsy, all these platforms just encourage you to put your RV at $99 a night? It's mind-blowing to me. So again, know the value of your unit. What did you invest in that unit? What's your return of investment? Run the numbers through an Excel spreadsheet, whatever it may be, because I can guarantee you could probably be getting higher prices. Our prices should be going up. Hotels right now are like $300 a night. Nothing has changed about them. And most of them are getting rid of breakfast. And yet their prices keep going up. Why does our industry, the only industry in this hospitality world, that the prices just keep going down or stay flat? I'll never understand it. I don't get it. So why am I saying that? Because I encourage anybody I have this communication with, I'm like, get your prices up. Let's raise the floor of the market. Let's raise our levels and let's get them as high as we possibly can. There's no reason for that. I used to rent my diesel pushers for $400 a night. I bet you when I was shutting down, I stopped doing diesel pushers altogether because I wasn't getting that $400 a night anymore. And I'm like, it's just not worth it for me to rent diesel pushers if I'm only getting $250 a night. This is ridiculous. Anyways, Dave, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I totally vouch for what you're saying. And it's really all because of Outdoorsy and RV Share. You got mom and pop with a trailer sitting next to their garage, forever. And they're like, oh, we can make $85 a night on this thing. And so I see all these mom and pops around me when I act like a consumer on RV Share or Outdoorsy, see what's available on their little map. And I'm like surrounded by mom and pop with their one unit that they're, and in fact, I bring trailers out to a place called the Christian Reformed Conference Grounds, beautiful campground on Lake Michigan. And they go Saturday to Saturday. I leave the trailers out there all week. And I'm setting up next to other mom and pops that are setting up their trailers, and they're renting them out for $75 a night, And I'm like, dude, we all got to band together and raise our prices. I mean, we're getting, but they don't get it. They're like, nope, I'm fine with making that,
Yeah.
So anyways, that's partly why. It's just because you got these people not really running their business as a business. They're just trying to, make a little extra income on the side from their trailer or make their payments on it. I don't know.
Yeah, no, and that's exactly why I started with my story about mine at $85 a night, because most of us are just trying to make that payment. To have somebody that's requesting a link real quick. Give me 1 second, you guys. I'm just going to send her a direct link. Give me 1 second. Does anybody have any questions about what I've shared so far? I want to make sure you guys, if you have any questions, just jump in, or if you have any thoughts or feedback of what I've shared. Anybody? While I send this link real quick. No, it's fine. I don't like silence.
I might start looking into adding four-wheelers to my rentals, but other than that.
No, it's true though. In Colorado, I mean, any state, Arizona, I was in 2 states. I was in Arizona and Colorado. So that was something I always try to do was if I had a moment, like if I was able to go camping or something, I'd always I wanted to have something productive to do. I just didn't feel like sitting around. I don't know. Some people like doing that. That's just not my thing. I'm like, I want to be jet skiing or riding a 4-wheel or riding my mountain bike. I don't want to be sitting in the RV. I'm around these things all day. I don't want to be dealing with that stuff, but that's just me. But anyways, but it puts in perspective, I guess is what I was trying to say, is you can rent a kayak or a boat or a paddleboard or whatever, and they're so much more expensive than an RV. And RVs are guaranteed more expensive than anything out there in equipment rental, other than commercial equipment, job site stuff that's different. But I just don't get it. I'll never understand it. But yes, to Dave's point and to what I was saying is I've seen this forever, and it just seems so hard to really get your prices up, because then you're competing with the millions of moms and pops. And again, these are stuff we can have off topic, off platform about just creating value. These are things I have in my courses, like ways to create value of your unit so that when people come to you, they just automatically click the button. I don't know how many of you are eBay shoppers or anything, but eBay is an interesting place. That's a little side like analogy. You'll see the same item on eBay from all these various sellers, exact same thing, and there'll be one person at $10 for said item, and then another person at like $400 for the exact same item. I'm like, and it blows my mind. Now I've got a mailbox store called Packmail, and one of my customers there, that's what he does for a living. He does eBay, and that's what he does. So we talk about this stuff a lot. And he's like, yeah, because there are consumers out there who don't want to think past that point, who don't care, and they don't want to haggle with pricing and cheap, and they think if it's higher price, I'm getting a better deal. And that's how you start to get those higher clientele and those higher people, is because, again, they might see that initial price, and they're just like, oh, this is I'm getting more. Again, it's that mentality. You get what you pay for, right? And if I think I'm spending more, and that's the value that we kept adding with our description and my website and everything else, when people would book with us, and the amount of people that would come to us directly that like had the RV share experience or the outdoorsy experience, and then they would find us and they were like, oh my gosh, I'm never going back to that platform. Like it's just too chaotic, too much. They didn't want to mess with all the headache and all dealing with the mom and pops and the cheap prices. They were just like, oh, one set price, out the door, everything's included, all inclusive, done. I'll sign up. What do I sign up for? And it was a much easier experience all the way around. And I've heard this from so many mentors I've been involved with. They're like, everything becomes so much easier when your prices are higher. It's the strangest thing, but it truly, truly works. I know it's scary, and you guys will all have to play with those numbers, but I would love, like next week or however we continue doing this, I'd love to hear some testimonies or whatever of people bumping their prices up and no issues. And you're still getting, what you're looking for and doing the exact same thing that you're already doing, now earning maybe $10 or $15 more a night, which would be amazing. All right, so we can move on for that. So my next question was prep fees. Now, again, I go over all this stuff in my intro course, but most of you, except for, I think, Jeff, other than Jeff, I think most of you have already been doing this, so you don't need that intro course. So I assume everybody here has a prep fee. I know Dave does. Brittany, it sounded like you have a prep fee. Angie, you've got a prep fee, you told me, and we talked about that. And Richard, you said you have a prep fee? I can't remember.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and what's your prep fee at, Richard, on your trailers?
$100.
$100. Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad. Andrew, you want to tell everybody what your Andrew, you want to just tell us what yours was? You're muted. Oh, there you go. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm not used to this Google thing. I'm used to Zoom. So yeah, I was doing $30 for the trailers. After talking to you today, I bumped it up to 50, and it's funny. I actually just sent somebody an invoice today, and they were like, you didn't have this prep fee at $50 last time, so I kind of had to explain a little bit what it was for, and then they were like, oh, okay.
I'm telling you, like I already explained to you,
So
they want to do business with you. These are your repeat customers. They already want to do business with you. They like you. That's not going to matter to them. They like you. They want to rent from you. They like your trailer. They want to rent your trailer. And when you know that confidence and that stuff, your prep fee is not going to, again, we already talked about this, so I don't need to get into it. So that's great. So, and I know, Jeff, we haven't talked about, I think we talked about it a little bit, but you're not renting yet. And Brittany, did you bump your prep fee up after we talked? Curious.
I did. I put it up to 75.
And what was yours originally?
0.
I thought you had something on you. Okay, so hers was at 0.
I had a $75 prep fee on Outdoorsy.
Nice.
But
Dave, you've got a variety of units. What is do you average your prep fee, or is it different for a unit, or what do you do, Dave? Is Dave there?
Yeah, mine are different per unit. I used to have nothing, and then I felt like I was running a cleaning business, paying my sisters very handsomely for cleaning. So I go from 50 to 90, depending on the size of the RV, how long it normally takes them.
Okay.
And
Go ahead.
And that barely covers it, actually, because they wash the outsides and inside and everything. And so I feel like I'm just basically breaking even on paying my cleaning staff.
This is wild to me. So I'm pretty sure if this is repetitive, forgive me. I'm going to say it again. I think I've told everybody this about my prep fee. Who here knows what my average prep fee was for my Class C's? Did anybody remember this that I've shared with anybody?
you have like 150?
No, not even close.
Not.
Anybody else? No? That's all right. If you guys don't know, it's okay. So to put it in perspective, I know when I tell people this, everybody's floored by it. And that's okay. I may have been wrong. I've gotten some kickback for it, and that's okay. All right, to put it in perspective, my trailers for a little bitty 20-footer was $200 for my prep fee. That's it. All the way up to my monsters. I call anything over 30 foot is a monster to me. So 30 foot plus is my monster trailers. My monster trailers were $350 for my prep fee. Okay. I know, Dave, I'm shocked. I'm shocked you haven't been doing this. That shocks me. My Class C's motorhomes are a different beast. Trailers are way easier to manage by far. But my Class C's, okay, even my little baby Class C's, my little 24 footers, which are awesome, $300 prep fee, okay? And then my Class A started at $300. My diesel pushers were $400 for my prep fee. And guess what? Who here wants to know if they paid it? Every time. Every single time. And we were still booked with no issues. I know people, they're like,
So when you increased your prep fees to that amount, did you already have a good client base?
You know, I should know this better. I didn't know my numbers very well. So the short answer is, and I think I shared this with you, Brittany, so I'll reshare this story with you guys. Now, pre-COVID, this is probably what a lot of you guys are doing. Pre-COVID, 2019, 2020, 2020 was just such a goofy year. What we did, I had a package, and it was called the Easy Living Package. I did that from like day one. From like when I started renting in 2009, I think my prep fee was like $30. So I was right there with you, Andrew. I had a dirt cheap prep fee because I didn't know what I was doing, right? And I didn't even have limbs. I had nothing included in that time frame. But then, again, I'm just like, this is hospitality. This is a hotel on wheels, you know. So I'm like, I had to go big. But then my prep fee never changed. And I was like, holy cow, I'm spending 5 hours getting this thing ready at $30. And I like broke the numbers and I was like, what the hell? I don't remember when I upped that prep fee. I think the next tier I went to was like $50, and then I went to $75, and then it was $95 for a long time. So to answer your question, Brittany, I was $95 for a long time, and that was like universal on every unit except for trailers. I think trailers we did $75, and that was like a 20 or maybe 6. I'd have to go back and look at numbers. The point is it was a little bit less, but I kept it universal across the board because I hated mix and match. It was just annoying to try to track all the numbers. I was like, wanted it easy. Point is we did it that way, but I had something called an Easy Living Package, and I started doing this like my second year of the RV rental in 2010 with my Class A, and I picked up a couple other consignment units. And again, I'm running around, doing this, doing that, going to dump, having to go here, having to go there, wash it. Oh my God, there's so many things you have to do to get these things ready. It's ridiculous, right? Everybody agrees? It's ridiculous. Okay, point being is I was like, I am losing money on this. I'm not even breaking even, I'm losing money. So the Easy Living Package was the first thing that I offered as an optional thing. And so what I discovered over the many, many years was in the beginning, I was that guy, which all of you are that person. You're like, I just want to rent my RV. I want them to have a great experience. I don't want a nickel and dime. I'm right there with you. But you've got to think like a business owner, and you've got to think, how am I going to profit? Like if I want to scale this, I've got to make things profitable, right? Because if I hire people, I can't clean 10 RVs by myself. It's impossible. Like you could try, but it's really, really hard. My point is so with the Easy Living Package, that covered, so here's what it covered. Exterior, interior. Oh, did it not? Oh, how funny. It must have not saved. I'm so sorry. I had all this typed up. I must not save. I'm sorry. So I'm like trying to remember. Okay, so exterior wash, interior clean, topping off propane, topping off water, and dumping the tanks was all included in the Easy Living Package. But my prep fee was just my prep fee for my guys to go through, prep it, clean it, because we still got to go through it, inspect it, do this, that, and the other. I got to do a walkthrough. So I try to cover those costs, restock toilet, but whatever it was. We still had to do all that. But the prep fee didn't include you coming back and us cleaning it. That was just strictly for me to get it prepped and ready to go. You had to bring it back 100% the way that I got it, or the way that you got it, right? Now, I always gave this spiel, and I have videos about this stuff, but I always gave this spiel. I said, I'm not going to do a white glove inspection. I'm not that person, but what this is exactly, and if you want to write this down or keep track of it later. This is verbatim what I memorize it to the day I die. If you're the very next customer coming back to the RV as you are leaving the RV, is it going to be clean enough for you? And if it's not, then you better clean it better. And that's what I would tell them. right? And that was that phrase that I would tell them and everybody understood this. Everybody's like, I totally get it. I think a couple people didn't get it every so often. Fine. Then we charged them. It is what it is, right? and we took pictures to back it up. Point being is so we gave customers the option, okay? But the easy living package was always in place, and those same numbers of what my prep fees are now, or current, or whatever, when they were, at that $300 mark, $200 mark, whatever it was, between $150 all the way up to $400 mark, that was the cost of the easy living package. And so what I found over the years, after COVID especially, is that 75% of my customers were paying it. Like, majority of them were automatically, they just were like, I don't want to, it sucks to clean these. I'm on vacation. I don't want to deal with that stuff, right? And they wanted to still be loyal to me and honor me. Oh, our call ends in 15 minutes? Oh my gosh, I didn't know. I only have an hour free, and I got to wrap this up. Holy cow. So sorry. Okay. My point is so I hope that answers your question, Brittany. Yes, over the time, I got a lot of repeat customers. I would say it was about 75%, 80% repeat customers. But it didn't matter. Like, most of the people were paying that exuberant easy living package, so it didn't matter. So but come 2021, I flipped the lid on all that. I said enough is enough. I'm tired of like customers saying they dumped the toilet and they clearly didn't. I'm tired of people saying they wash it and I can like wipe my hand on it and it's clearly full of. I just got to, COVID changed all the mentality of customers, and like people just weren't doing what they said they were doing anymore. And so what I did was I changed it entirely, and I said forget it. It is my easy living package is now my prep fee, period. And then what I did is I put numbers together with my bookkeeper, and we ran the numbers, and we looked at the exact cost of what I was having to pay my employees to do the walkthrough, to do the inspection, to clean the linens, to wash the outside, to dump it. All those fees, you rolled it up together. And I was still double that price, meaning I was 50% or 100%, however you calculate that, above what I was paying out to make it happen. That's the only way you're going to scale. That's the only way you're going to do it. Now, can any of you, Dave might be able to do this because he's been in business longer, but some of you haven't been in business longer. You may not be able to bump your prep fee up to $300 a night. I get that. But my point in telling you this story is when you add that value and you tell your customers that when you come back, you got to do nothing. Now, of course, tell them, hey, please bring it back clean just because you like me. They'll do that for you, of course. They're nice cut. Most of them will do that for you. But when you say you don't worry about dumping the tanks, don't worry about filling the water, don't worry about even topping off propane and washing it. We'll take care of all that for you, and we'll clean the inside. We just ask, take out the trash, sweep it out before you go. Just tidy it up a bit before you head out. That's all that we ask. You'll find that most people will still do all that for you. It's still going to be dirty. And here's why we did that. As all of you already know, even if the customer brings it back spotless, you still have to go through it. You still have to inspect it, and you still have to touch every single little thing and make sure they didn't steal this or do this or that there's not a cabinet falling out, whatever. You still got to take an hour at least or half hour, whatever it is you're taking to go through it and do all of that stuff, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure everybody has to do that still if you want to maintain your unit, right? So why not get paid for it anyways? Why not make sure that you're already getting that? So I guess what I'm presenting is two different models. One, have a prep fee no matter what. Everybody should be at minimum $75 a night. Minimum. Like you shouldn't even be anywhere near lower than that. And I would guarantee most people will still pay that. Guaranteed. And then when people ask, like they ask Andrew, here's what I'm doing on your behalf so you don't have to. You've got to change your mentality. Here's what I'm doing for you as a convenience so you don't have to do these things. That's why there's a prep fee. Oh, okay. I get it. Thank you for doing that. I'm happy to pay it. I'm telling you, it works every time. And then when they come back, if you want to be the optional camp, that's perfectly fine. We did it for however many years, long time, and it worked out great until COVID. If you want to be the optional, say, hey, we offer a package. Again, people don't want to, some people will do the a la carte. We did that too. We offered a la carte, and that was fine. And people would pick and choose. They're like, we'll dump it, but we don't want, or we don't want to dump it. We hate poop, and we don't want to dump it, but we'll do that. Fine. And we would just charge, the straight fee of whatever that costs. And we made money on all that stuff too. We doubled those costs as well. My point is you can offer the optional, but make it a package and say, hey, we'll do all of these things for you when you get back if you don't want to. Nope. Questions asked. Have a nice day. I just ask that you don't trash it. And so now, and I know this question comes up a lot, so let me touch on it really quick. You're going to run into this occasionally. There are people that are going to abuse that and trash it. And my manager in Arizona, she would get upset at me at times because she's like, dude, I'm doing extra work this time. I'm like, yeah, but the last 5, it was almost immaculate. and you still made $300 because they paid you to do everything, and you didn't have to do anything. And she's like, yeah, that's true. I was like, so you got to take the good with the bad. You're going to take the wins, and most are going to be wins, and you're going to have those occasional losses. In my contract, and what my rule was for my customers, and they knew this in my videos, my emails, my contract, blah, 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 3 points of contact. They knew if I had to take out anything additional out of my shed to clean, like we had a cleaning bucket or a cleaning kit, and it was the exact same for every unit, and they were included in the units, so it was the same thing, so you had no excuses that you couldn't clean it, because we provide the exact same thing that we clean the RVs with. There was no excuses. So if we had to break out like the steam machine or a carpet cleaner or alcohol, rubbing alcohol to clean Sharpie, if we had to do that, we charged extra. And that's how we recoup that. But yes, were there times that people, they came back from the sand dunes and they clearly left sand and everything, and then the toilet was not flush? Yes, those times happen, and we ate those costs because they paid for the cleaning package. But my cleaning package was more than enough. I didn't care. At $300, I don't care. I don't care if there's poop in the toilet. I mean, it's gross. I'm getting $300. I'm getting paid. I don't really care. And I'm still paying my employees $50 to do it. I'm still making bank. You see what I'm saying? So these are the different mentalities. But if you don't offer it, you'll never get it. You'll never know about it because you'll never know who's willing to pay it. But the point is if you're scared about making it mandatory, don't. That's okay. But have a prep fee no less than $75. At least start there. Tell them what you're doing, what that entails. And then from there say, hey, by the way, if you don't want to do anything at the end of your trip, because most people don't, we offer this cool package and it'll take care of everything for you for $200. And most people would just be like, absolutely. And you're going to be like, oh my God, I just made $200 and my rental's only $100 a night. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's not even close. It's not even close. And this also helps for those of you who are doing, which we haven't even talked about, like the 2-night minimums, which I would say bump up to a 3-night minimum. But those of you who are doing like these short weekend warrior stuff, I don't want to be cleaning for $30. I don't want to be cleaning for $50. Not for 2 nights. I'm not making any money. I can't scale that way. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you want to be in a position that you can scale, that you can start thinking ahead. If you really want to turn this into a business, I'm telling you, learn from my first 5 years that it took me forever to figure this out. And I was just scraping by the barrel, just trying to make ends work, having 2 other jobs, just trying to make this thing a real thing. No, and then once I took the reins off and I started thinking of it more like that, I'm like, oh, right, the money's just coming in. It's just starting to work now. And then eventually you'll make those numbers. So there was more I wanted to touch on that, but I forgot that I only get a free hour call and we're down to 9 minutes. So we're not going to get into efficiency. I had stuff I wanted to pitch to you all, and I don't know that I have time for that, but I wanted to open up. Do you guys have any questions on anything I shared? And sorry, Brittany, I know you asked and I went off on this long tangent, but I hope that answered a lot of y'all's questions about having a prep fee, why it's important, and how you can, that's another way that you are leaving money on the table. And even if you don't bump your nightly rate up, which you should, but even if you're not, you can be getting other streams of income with the same thing you're already doing by offering these other packages and these other ways to recur revenue. Does this make sense to you guys? I hope.
Yep.
Dave.
I've got
Oh, Dave.
Do you have an example, Philip, of like what all you included in your prep fee on your site?
Yeah, so all this was included. So everybody knew when they got, so even in the reservation, in the quote, this is how I added value, because when you got a quote from me, it was already in the description, but most people don't read that stuff. So when you got your first email from me, that was like the very first thing it said. This is what's included in our rentals. This is what you get with what you're paying for. And so they knew right from the get-go. And I offer these templates and all this stuff if you guys are interested. They're not on my site live yet because I haven't put them together in a zip file. But I'm going to offer all my email templates as well, because I tweaked these into oblivion until they were perfect. And I work with NLP. I don't know if you guys know what that is. That's fine. I work with people that get into the neurological and the psychological, and they're like, if you use this word and this word, it'll trigger these responses. Like, I did all that stuff. But anyways, to answer your question, yes, that was in my quote. Even before the reservation ever happened, it was in my description and it was in my quote. And I said, hey, here's my other fees, and here's what the Easy Living package includes. Boom, you can check this box right from the get-go, and you'll find that most people will probably do it right when they book.
Gotcha.
Anybody else?
I've got a question for the group, and I know we talked about this a little bit the other day, Philip, about linens.
That's exactly what was my next question.
So initially I included it, for free if people wanted it.
Likewise.
I quickly got very tired of
Yep,
these mass
yep.
linen days, and I'm like, I'm going to start charging for this.
100%.
How did that go?
So I'm charging $50 if people want linens, and I'd say 50% of people do it.
Absolutely.
But what I just noticed, I just got an email from Outdoorsy, or I saw a notice or something, and they're like, if you want to be a super host and all this stuff, you can't be nickel and diamond people for linens. And they use that linens as an example. I'm like, I'm not doing linens for free. I don't want to bump my prices up that much to throw people off, so
Right.
I want to see what y'all are doing for that.
I just changed my model as well, just because we got tired of doing linens, and so I think I started put that as an add-on for $50. Yep. I found for the most part for like quite a while, it seemed everybody used the linens, and then most recently, I had people start like bagging them and bringing their own stuff, and I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. Well, especially if they're not used, no matter the hell would I, even bother? So we just throw a sheet over the bunk or whatnot and do it as an add-on.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I was making beds. Oh,
No,
go
you're
ahead.
fine. This is a whole different topic, and I'd love to speak on it. I of course, I got lots of insights into linens. Linens is a funny beast. Linens is a funny thing. A lot of people, they hate it. I don't disagree with the hate of that, but ours were all fully included, but we pulled them from the trailers. We found after the first year or two of doing trailers, we didn't get into trailers right away. We were doing only motorhomes for many, many years, and then we finally got into trailers in like 2017, I think. But yes, linens in the trailers were a nightmare, and they just didn't work. And we found that majority of the customers that were coming were local. And I'm like, you can bring your own linens. I don't want to deal with linens in the trailers, because they were just pulling everything out, and like they weren't even using half of it. And we had to. Anyways, I can talk about that. But the point is, trailers, we nix the linens. We charge only $15 per set, though. So if there's 4 beds, that's 4 sets. That's 15 times, $60, something like that. So that's how we charge per set for linens that we did. But yes, if you did 50 for the whole coach, I think that's more than covers. Motorhomes are a different beast. We weren't any lower than like $200 a night on a Class B, and no lower than $250 a night on a Class C. So it was more than enough to cover. And again, my prep fee was more than enough to cover and pay. I hired a company to do my linens, and they did it all for me. It was great. So I had no issues with linens. I do find in the early stages, when you only have between 3 and 5 or 6 units, linens are a nightmare. They really are, and I get that. But again, this goes back to the prep fee, because you want to think, what am I doing to prep the unit, and what are all my costs? And again, I can share this stuff with you guys later at another time. I have these numbers broken down, so you can actually look at what we were doing, and then that'll start putting light bulbs in your guys' head. So you're like, oh, okay, I need to think about these other things that you're including: inspection, repairs, maintenance. Like all this stuff was rolled into my prep fee, because I knew it had to happen every single time. Every time the unit came back, we had to put a screwdriver to something. Like we had to do this thing every single time, no matter what. I might as well cover that expense. I'm paying my guys $20-25 an hour. I need to cover those expenses every single time. So again, that's why our prep fee was high. But I'm not opposed to not doing linens. I would say this: when Outdoorsy and RV Share tell you any advice, they're probably retarded and ignore it. I shouldn't use that word, but just ignore their nonsense. I don't even want to.
No, yeah, I did. Yeah, I just thought that was crazy that they said that.
Because, again, it goes back to you should list your RV at $99 a night. Here's what Joe, Billy, Bob, and Susie are doing in your area. Shut up. Like, I will need to run my own business. You worry about you. You should, I'm shocked that they don't encourage people to raise their rates, because they would be making more money. Anyways, whatever. We already talked about it.
And RV Share has the suggested nightly rate thing too.
Your business, your model, your thing. I guarantee you guys will get more rates. Okay, I'm down to 3 minutes, so I'm so sorry. This went so fast. Did you guys get any value out of this? That would be my first question. Did you guys get something, or you're like disappointed that you showed up, or you're like, no, this was awesome?
No,
definitely.
Love it. Brittany, what about you?
Yeah.
Definitely. I always love hearing from other people. So
No, that's
yes, definitely felt value in
okay.
it.
So I only got a couple minutes left. I wanted to open it up for questions, but I know we probably don't have time, so forgive me. Like I said, I would like to do this on a regular basis. I would like to do this on a weekly basis. I don't know when Clark's going to kick me out. Who knows? We haven't talked for a long time. It's that kind of gut feeling that I'm like, I got a hunch he's kind of getting jealous of me or something, because people are responding to me. They're upvoting all my comments in chat. He's not commenting as much. I don't know. I know when we first talked, he was like, oh, I want to do this thing and I want to, roll out this thing or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And nothing came of it. I would love to do these weekly meetings, but I want to, I need to get my time. Good job. Right on, Dave. I want to get paid. Of course, I need to make money. So I'm just being honest with you guys. I need to get money. So here's what's going on in my head. I'll let you guys know. Ideally, what I might do is maybe I'll do one of these freebies once a month. But ideally, I like to do these weekly for people that want to have like a paid membership. My membership, I'm thinking maybe $30 a month. I'm playing with the numbers, but this is my thought. And I'm hoping to, of course, entice some of y'all that you want to sign up and get this value. But with that $30, it wouldn't just be like a weekly thing. It'd be like, now I don't feel like, as you're messaging me, like, I want to be able to respond. Because again, I bet you 50 people message me a day from the forums and they're all... Okay, sorry. I got cut off. I apologize. So what I was sharing with you guys is I would like to do this on a continual basis. I know more people can benefit from this. I would like to get more people in the group that want to sign up. But again, if the group admins start seeing this, they're going to block me immediately. So I don't know how much of this we can really go about. I'm going to keep doing it through Facebook Messenger and just use side chats. But my point is my thought is doing one freebie a month, and then the rest of the month we'll do one each week. And I'll figure out a way that I can set up a subscription-based plan so that way you guys can just join anytime. Also, the second thing I was going to bring up was timing. I know this was last minute, and I just kind of threw it out there because I'm like, I got to get this thing started. I got to get this thing off the ground. So that was the whole point of this. And I appreciate everybody that showed up. Thank you so much for showing up. I appreciate it. I really do. And I'm hoping that I don't want to get more than probably 20. I know I said 30 originally, but I'm thinking maybe 20 is an ideal number. And that's my goal probably each week is to have that. People signing up, and that way we can get a bigger discussion. But the other thing, as we all just experienced, I only have an hour of free Zoom meeting, or whatever you want to call it. And Zoom, I think, is only 45 minutes. So that's why I went with Google Meet. So I'd have to pay for that. So again, it's cost of doing business, things of that nature. I really want to help you guys out. I generally do, of course. And I'd like to turn this into a full-time gig. Absolutely. And that way I can hold your guys' hands and go over all these things. Like even to Dave, I was shocked Dave didn't have a prep fee. That kind of surprised me that Dave's been in business that long and he didn't have prep fee, and then he's just barely breaking into the prep fee, and just breaking even. Like, I hope some light bulbs went off for you guys. I hope you guys can see that this can be a lucrative business. It can. We all know it comes with its headaches. We all know it comes with the stresses of the business. I get it. But let's make some money, right? Let's make some money. That's the goal. That's why we're doing any of this stuff. Yes, originally we started because we were sitting on something, we knew nothing what to do with it, and now here we are. But if we're going to turn this into a real business, this is the things that we have to do. We have to bump these fees up. We have to bump our nightly rate up. We have to bump our prep fee up, and we have to make this thing a solid thing. So going back to it, yes, if you guys would like to be a part of this, I would love to just get some feedback because I'm just gauging this right now. And tell me what you guys think. Is this something you guys would want to sign up for? Do a monthly. It wouldn't be like an annual thing. You wouldn't have to pay, like you wouldn't be locked into any contract. It'd be just as you need it, right? You just sign up. Maybe you only need it for this month. Maybe you stop renting for a month or something, and then you sign up again. Like I would want to do these ongoing. And then what I would do is every time we're doing the meeting, I'll record every single one of them. So that way we have an archive and they'll all be tagged and labeled. So that way people can go back and watch and just get some insight on your own free time. And then I kind of touched on this for 1 second. When's the best time? Unfortunately, because I own another business, I work there 3 days a week. I'm doing night class right now for the cybersecurity, so that's eating up my nights. So pretty much during the week, Friday is really my only free day I have. And I know that generally doesn't work in the RV business because that's usually when you're getting something checked out, checked in, delivering or whatever. Saturdays are my only other day, and I try to keep Sundays just to family. I really try to take a day off. So Saturdays would work, but it would be in the afternoons. So after 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and maybe that would work better with you guys. And I'll send like an email. Everybody that signed up, I'm just going to do this in an email format instead of dealing with Facebook Messenger. It's so annoying. And that way we can kind of have an email going. And I'll get some feedback from you guys, and then we'll go from there. Oh, one more final thing. Sorry, this is the last thing. I think this is the last thing. I have a Facebook dedicated Facebook page, not a group. I don't have a group set up yet. I do have a group, but it's not open to the public yet, and I'm not going to open it to the public. Again, if this membership thing takes off, that's what I'm saving it for that, because it's rather just exclusive members only, people that have paid. That way it's like a core group of people that were really learning from each other, that it's not just this run-of-the-mill, goofy questions here and there. Like, we're all kind of getting standards and on the same page, which would be amazing, I think, for this industry as a whole. But my point is I have a Facebook page called Motor Coaching. I'm going to include that link in this video. I meant to include it in this, and I totally forgot to do it. So like and go to the page, subscribe or like, or however that works on the Facebook page. And because I think that's for now where I'm going to post the free ones, but I'm only going to post it to people that like my page, so that way that you can get that value out of it. And then I'm going to share it with the people that were part of this class and the people that couldn't make it to this class, and I'm going to send it to them as well. So that way I think that's the easiest place to find. I might do YouTube too, I don't know, but either way, I'm going to do this all through the email channels, and we'll go from there. I don't need to spend any more time on this. You guys get the gist. I think that was a great session. I hope you guys really got something out of it, and I'm looking forward to hearing all of you guys bumping your prices up and getting a prep fee established that you feel good about. And then over time, we're going to get it even higher. That's our goal, okay? That's our goal. All right. You guys, thank you so much. Happy renting. Good luck to all of you, and we'll be in touch. Have a great day.